Do you have an example to show here, Sonny, if people are watching at youtube.com/thisweekend or on Spotify or the video feed? Let's open up GPT-4 here. And I have some stuff that I was playing with this weekend that got interesting too that I'll share.
Okay, so I'm going to share here. Give me a second. All right, and we're doing this live because we just got the data set from our producer. Okay, so we're inside of ChatGPT here, and we're going to upload this electric vehicle data set.
And that, when you said send a message, there's a link on the right there. And if you, on the left of send a message, and that's where you upload from?
Yeah, right here. There's like a little, see this little plus icon, and normally the, so you can see the first thing.
I didn't know that. Is that only for...
That is only for the code interpreter.
Got it. And so just so people can see the interface here, because we have never done this, but could just hit a new chat there and let me just show people the interface and then just describe that for folks.
Okay,
so when
hold
you create
on.
a new chat, you click new chat in the top left, you hit this down arrow key. Now you can see all the different items, plugins, default, etc. So you got to sportscast this a little bit so people see it. And then it gives you a little description of what it is. And how good it is, and like a sort of internal rating of what it does. But you picked code interpreter.
Interpreter, correct.
Got it.
All right.
And then you hit the plus key.
And now, this is about, I think, a 29 meg file. And so it's going to take, a few seconds to upload here.
I see that, yeah.
And so now what it's going to do, and none of us have really seen this file yet, which is fascinating.
It is fascinating. I'm, by the way, doing this alongside of you.
Yeah, so this is the code. So it's generated this code. This is Python code here, J. Kyle, you were asking about this weekend to read that file. And it's still generating, and it's understanding. Now you can see here, it's starting to tell us, hey, the data has been rolled into a data frame. And from the first few rows, we can understand that this is the data. So we're going to let this complete. And I'll tell you the next piece, which what Vinny was talking about a second ago, was like, where you normally have to go get a data scientist and so to do something like this. And it throws some things up here and it says, okay, so it's done. So then my next question is going to be this.
Well, let's describe what it showed there.
It's loaded the data and it says, it looks like the data contains VIN, location, model year, make, vehicle type, MSRP, and Department of Licensing, vehicle ID, some locations, utility, and some census tracking.
So what producer Nick gave us was the electric vehicle population data. And it figured out what's in there, and it's reflecting that back to you in plain English.
Correct. It is. And it's saying, hey, I'm ready to do something. It's loaded it. What I'm showing here is the prompt where it's loaded it into like a Python library called Pandas, which is what a lot of data scientists would use to start analyzing data.
So there was a little caret there that said, show the work. So after it uploaded it, when it finished work, it asked you to do that. And fascinating, when it did yours, for me, it did a different response to the same data, which is really interesting. Like ChatGPT-4 told me the data set contains information about electric vehicles, with each row representing a specific electric vehicle. The columns in the data set are as follows, and it did it 1 through 10. It actually gave me a list of them, which is really like a totally more helpful response. That's very fascinating that we had two different experiences.
And that's sort of the nature of LLMs that can happen. But this next question, which I'm putting down in the prompt, so I'll read to everyone, says, can you conduct whatever visualizations and descriptive analysis you think would help me understand the data? Because I have this, producer Nick sent us this file. And so now let's see what it does in this next phase here. And so what it's starting to tell us is we'll look at the following aspects of the data: distribution of electric vehicle types, battery electric vehicles versus plug-in electric vehicles. That's BEV versus PHEV. Top 10 most popular electric vehicle makes and models, distribution of the vehicles by year, geographic summary of the vehicles, and summary statistics of the range and base MSRP. And that's all. It's doing all of that just based on this question, which was, can you conduct whatever visualizations and descriptive analysis you think would be helpful to understand this data? And so now it's doing the work to basically do those 5 things for us. And again,
what's very interesting about that is that you did a very generic question, which is you asked the CEO question. All right, thanks for the data, data scientist in a meeting. Why do I care? Just get to the point. What did you learn by studying the data? And it it's basically just starting with some general ideas here to get you started, and you could pick one to double click on.
Yes, correct. And so it's now doing the work. And what you can see here,
oh my
again,
God.
like, yeah. And
describe what you're seeing. Remember, imagine people are listening, Sonny, so sportscasting.
Okay, so it gave us 5 examples of things to look at the data. So the first is the distribution.
A chart of the distribution.
Exactly, of a chart that shows us the distribution between battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. And this is a visualization. It would have taken someone a few minutes to, maybe 30 minutes to generate this chart in PowerPoint. And it's been generated for us automatically. And it shows us that the distribution is almost 5 to 1 here, right? Maybe 4 to 1 in terms of there's way more battery electric vehicles than plug-in electric vehicles, according to the data set that we were given.
Okay.
The next chart is we're going to look at the 10 most popular electric vehicle makes. And we see here that Tesla is a clear leader with Nissan at number 2, then Chevrolet, then Ford. And we see a visualization of a chart there. Next, we're going to look at not by make, but we're going to look by model. And we can see here that the most popular model is the Model 3, then the Model Y, then the Leaf, and so forth, if you look at this chart. And then when we look at by year, and obviously, we're only partway into 2023, we can see that by year, the distribution of electric vehicles has generally been increasing with a little bit of a slowdown in 2019 and 2020, and a pickup back in 21, and a huge jump back in 2022. And we're only, a little bit more than a quarter away to 2023.
Would be my interpretation. But what's interesting here is now that you start to see some of these things, you could actually ask ChatGPT, why is there a spike? But you could just do that in another window with ChatGPT 4. What's your takeaway here, Vinny, just to bring you in on the conversation?
I mean, I'm going to start using this to analyze my wine collection.
Fantastic. You have a CSV, upload it. What do we tell me about it?
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to pull it right now and see if I can go, come up with some strange stats. Recommend other wines for me. Let's see what it comes up with.
Do you have plugins? Go do it. We'll show it on the air if you're comfortable. What's interesting here also is based on the visualization and summary statistics, here are some key insights from the data. It actually wrote some of these, and it said top 10 most popular electric vehicles is 0.3. Tesla Model 3 is the most popular electric vehicle model, followed by Nissan Leaf, etc. So you start getting into some really interesting concepts. Stop using your personal phone for your startup in 2023. You have to stop doing this. It's such a common mistake that founders make. OpenPhone has totally rethought every detail of what a business phone should look like in 2023. And it's so affordable, you have no excuse. They make it super easy to get a business phone number for everybody on your team. It works through a beautiful web app on your phone or your desktop. And I can tell you, it's amazing because our sales team and our ops teams use it daily. Recently found so much value using OpenPhone for our Angel Summit communications. OpenPhone is the #1 rated business phone on G2 for customer satisfaction. And Twist listeners are going to love it. Brian Jagger, he's the co-founder of a startup called Athlete. He tweeted the following: I'm literally cash flow positive from listening to This Week in Startups for listener deals. And he explains that he previously got OpenPhone money from this incredible discount that they give to This Week in Startups founders. And he says, I'm not paid to say that. I don't know Jason, pure honest feedback and appreciation. And you know what? I love to hear this because there's so many people who listen to this podcast who are founders, and you need to use these tools. But hey, listen, you might be cash constrained, or you might want to put that cash into your product. OpenPhone is already affordable at a starting price of only $13 per user per month. But Twist listeners can get 20% off any plan for your first 6 months at openphone.com/twist. And if you have existing numbers with another service, no problem. OpenPhone will port them over at no extra cost. So head to openphone.com/twist to start your free trial and get 20% off.